Hi everybody, it's James, and welcome back to TGWPIS FC. As you can tell, this is the tactics episode, hence why I am not just sitting here in a random shirt. I am dressed up as Manager James. This is what I look like on the sideline, usually in a suit, sometimes spotting collared shirt and polo, or in this case sweater. It is cold out. It is January 8th in the middle of the game, and we're going to talk about tactics today, and we're going to break down the tactic, how we use it, how I play it. We're going to play Stourbridge on extended highlights, and we're going to break down really a lot more of how we do things here. So first things first, let's talk about how we've been getting on off camera. Here it is. Since the craziness that was the FA Cup second round against Wickham, we won 1-0 against Leamington. We drew 0-0 against AFC Russian Diamonds. A game I was expecting. Once you have the high of this, how do you come back down from it? Then Cambridge City, 5-0. Southern League Cup third round qualifying. Hell yeah. Yeah, we just spanked them with the reserves. In the FA Trophy third round, we won against Oxford City Football Club, 2-0. And then St. Ives and Sutton Coldfield in the league has brought us to here today. We still sit top of the league with only one draw, 22 wins, no losses, 67 points. A nice 16-point advantage over our second place team, or 15. It's 15 points. The Cup, we play West Bromwich Albion in the next game. Oh boy. And FA Trophy Southern League shows you where we sit. We've also had transfers because, like a smart person, I have decided to sell our best striker in the transfer window for, it's £185,000 up front, going up to £250,000 in installments and after 20 league appearances. On top of all that, we have a 20% sell-on fee. Not profit, sell-on fee, which means we get the money, whatever they sell him for. Which is good for us. Also, Jacak has gone to Burnley for £20,000. Godspeed, Jacak. You were great for us. Now you're on to greater and greater things. Will Gallagher has left for £62,000, and Mark Kitching has also left for $16,000 or for $10,000. Also, Konrad Kaminski left as well for $15,000, going up to $18,000 with a 20% sell-on clause. People were just coming in for players, and I was willing to sell them. We've brought in one guy, Ruben Mendez. I'm pretty sure his uncle is a different kind of Mendez, a powerful agent that we have seen from time to time. So don't ask me if he gets sketchy deals done for us, done cheap. Just don't ask, because I won't tell. Just because we know a guy named Mendez doesn't mean we should immediately all think the worst, right? Right. Okay. So that gives you guys such a setup here. Also, Xavier is underbid for Rotherham for £250,000 too. So we may before the West Brom game have sold our best striker and sold our best defender. That all being said, the balance is looking hella healthy with over $500,000 in the bank. A transfer budget of $387,000, which we won't use because we can't. And we're trimming the wage bill down, which is always good. We're bringing players for less contracts than we were sending shipping players out. Arthur Okonkwo, who is on £70 a week, replaced Jacak, who was on £180 a week. Saving over £100. So, that is the admin for the day. Thank you very much. Let's talk tactics. And specifically, let's talk this. So, in Football Manager, at least the past two iterations, for the Corby Town save, we played a 4-2-3-1. Inside forwards, attacking midfielders, lone striker, wingbacks, two ball-playing center backs, and then usually a box-to-box midfielder and a Mezzala or a deep-line playmaker and a Mezzala. That's what we usually play. That's what we played for that system. That was pretty much standard. Gegenpress, go for it. You knew it, you loved it. That's what it was. And the way I tend to play Football Manager is I don't tweak and fiddle with a formation. I don't find that helps. Also, mainly because I'm not doing saves where I jump around from club to club to club to club. I'm usually starting at a club in a lower league position, and I'm able to kind of build it and develop the club with the players that I want for the fits the formation I want to do, versus having to jump into a club and then do the formation that they have for the players that fits best for the players. Now, for the Swifts, we used a crazy formation, which was a 4-3-3 essentially, and then it became a 4-2-1-3 with 3 strikers, 2 defenders with wingbacks. There was a holding mid who then became a central mid, a 3 across the mid, central mid, and then it became an attacking mid with the 3 strikers. It was very offensive. Boy, did we score a lot of goals. We shipped a few, but we always outscored our opponents, which is what it was. It was like pure offense all the time. Go after them. Now, with the advent of FM22 and then bringing wide center backs into the game, I wanted to try to be a defensively solid team. Let's see what we can do with being defensively solid. Let's do a 3 at the back with wing backs and everything. So why do I have my team set up the way I do? Let's start from the back, work our way up to the top, and also talk about why I have everything the way it is. So let's start at positions. Sweeper keeper. A sweeper keeper, no additional instructions added. So obviously a sweeper keeper, if for those of you who don't know, the way Football Manager defines a sweeper keeper and defend, aims to, alongside the standard goalkeeper, he will sweep up with balls, come out front and wide, the counter attack, initiate counter attack stuff. I find that a regular goalkeeper usually stays on his line or doesn't really venture too far out of the 6-yard box, let alone into the 18-yard box. A sweeper keeper, even on defend, will at least get around the 18-yard box and will allow your defenders to kind of sweep back in there. And he'll also come out and kind of stop a counterattack or two, which is important. Now, depending on how old school you are and a football fan, I think the sweeper keeper is the standard goalkeeper now going forward, and you should always play as a goalkeeper or sweeper keeper if they are athletic enough to do so. Some are just not athletic enough to do so. But yes, that's why we have a sweeper keeper. We start counterattacks. We have defense. I like a guy who can push the ball around. And essentially, he kind of creates that 4 at the back and creates those kind of passing triangles that you can create with your 3 center backs here. So, our center backs. We have two wide center backs and then a central defender on cover. So, wide center back is a newer kind of position here. It crosses from deep. They hold position, but they stay wider. So they kind of float in this area here, which is good. They basically, when you look at what they say, the main job of the wide center back is to stop opposing attacker from clearing the ball. Unlike the standard center back, wide center back encouraged to stay wide to support midfield like a fullback. With the defending duty, wide center backs are more traditional center back 5, which we have, but from deep and are less likely to overlap or underlap when passing the ball, having a passing option. So, 2 wide center backs, one on the left, one on the right. Now, the reason they're on defend and not on something like support or attack, because you look at stay wider, these guys cross from deep, hold position. Stay wider. These guys will start to, if you're on support, they'll start floating up here to join the attack. And then on attack, these guys will create underlaps with your fullback, with your wing backs. So the reason why we don't is we're a lower league side. And though we could do that, we don't really have the guys with the athleticism to do that kind of position. If you look at Xavier here, yeah, he's strong, he's got stamina, he's got great jumping reach, but he doesn't have the pace. If Rudiger is available, Antonio Rudiger, he's still at Chelsea. You look at him. All right, we're going to use the cheat engine a little bit here. Look at him. 16 pace, 16 natural fitness, strength 15. Like, this guy is what you're looking at. Ruben Diaz. Another one. Once again, he's not the fastest, but his acceleration, he could definitely do. Also, crossing and dribbling is a huge deal, too. Who was other, couldn't Virgil van Dijk? Absolutely. Virgil van Dijk can play a wide center back role. Crossing isn't the best, but he's good at dribbling, his pace and everything like that. So you're looking at like most of the modern Premier League style center backs. They're 16, 17 pace, 15, 16, 17 pace. And they've got great passing, marking, and everything like that. We, on the other hand, have Xavier is good, but also like look at Hernandez here. It's a 9 pace. Aggression, marking, and tackling is great. He is a defensive machine, and probably it would be better for the central than for the center defensive position, which we may be doing in the near future. But as it stands right now, he is the wide center because he's one of our few left-footed guys. We just don't have the guys who will do that ability. And instead of getting caught out and having guys who will get caught out in that fullback position, keeping them on defend means they'll still come up. They'll still come up and support the wingbacks. I like it when I love it when it does this, and it just doesn't let me like make any changes like that. Now will it let me grab them? Yeah. So they'll still come out and support the wingbacks, but they won't be too aggressive about it. And that's the important thing. Like you want to be defensively solid. A central defender on cover. Now, why a central defender on cover? Because I would love this to be a ball-playing defender on cover. That's the goal. So eventually this is a ball-playing defender on cover. Antonsen has 6 passing and 6 vision. He is not a he's not a ball-playing defender on cover, so he's a central defender. Now, cover is important because a central defender is your bog-standard center back, right? Nothing crazy about that. But the cover position, however, especially more aggressive tactics, he must maintain central defender. Get this. A central defender maintains clear. However, for more aggressive tactics, he uses the possession to composure to create. Yeah. Cover essentially means he's dropping back behind the line to sweep up. We specifically look at, well, if it lets me do the thing. A defender with covering duty, a central defender will drop a little deeper to sweep balls through the defensive line. Once again, you've got some guys who are more aggressive up here in the defensive line. He's dropping back. Antonsen is dropping back to provide that cover. Also, with the way that I've seen how this tactic works, and at least in lower league football, a lot of the 1 strikers, or even sometimes 2 strikers, when the ball gets lumped forward to them, it's usually lumped forward to a central position. That's where Antonsen usually comes in, and he's marking that guy. 9 times out of 10, he's winning that header. Not only because he's got 16 jumping reach and 12 heading, he's 6'6". So having a guy who is tall, who can win the headers, makes perfect sense. So that's how we stay structurally sound. We've got the wide center backs kind of creating those passing lanes to allow that the wing backs vacate when they bomb forward to allow our defenders to support back in and also pass between each other. Antonsen will drop back into the defense when we lose possession or drop back to cover, because then that way he's also tall, but if there is a long ball forward, he can jump and protect the back line and provide the header and usually win the physical battle with the striker. That's the defense. That's essentially our back four. Probably the easiest ones to explain, wingbacks on attack. Why wingbacks on attack versus wingback on support? Well, wingbacks on support, they get further forward and they run with the ball. That's all they do, which is fine. That's a good thing to have. And even like wingbacks on defend, they hold position cross from deep, which means they'll get forward, but they don't get too far forward. They usually will float in this kind of area here. Now, why wingbacks on attack? Dribble more, good. Run with the ball, fine. Cross more often, absolutely okay. Get further forward, yes. This is the reason why I have them on attack. Cross from the byline. That means these guys are bombing forward to get to here to drive crosses into the byline there. I like that. I like my wingbacks to bring the ball as far forward as they can and then whip it in close to the corridor of uncertainty. And you've seen the way we score goals. They do either cross in or do pullbacks because you've got Archer and Moreno up here. But then you've got Casa, who usually makes that late run into the box, who usually can get that pullback or that kind of glanced off header or clean up the mess. That's what he's there for. And that's why the wingbacks work. And also, because we have these three center backs always providing position, and once again, these guys playing out wide to cover where the wingbacks would be, that's fine. So we bomb forward. You keep bombing forward, and I like that. Now, why do I not play them as complete wingbacks? Because complete wingbacks do the same thing. Run wide with the ball, get further forward, roam from position, and stay wider. And then the same thing, cross more often, crossing the byline, all that other stuff. Well, complete wingbacks are really about being that, complete wingbacks. We don't have people who being skillful at this, like you can find guys like Trent Alexander-Arnold and stuff like that who play like this. We don't have guys at this level who can do that. The other thing is that I actually want my guys to be able to defend. Even a wingback, it still has some defensive duties. And if you look at the way you look at the stats here, a wingback on attack, crossing, dribbling, tackling is still prevalent in it, and technique. There's that. But you look at like a complete wingback on attack, like he's got a lot more he has to do. And marking is not one of them. They're good. They're like tackling is all right, but they do not mark people. They're just bombing forward. Essentially a winger. Just starting from a deeper position. And I don't want that. I want my wingback on attack because where tackling is kind of a tertiary thing for what they want to do. Tackling is something a wingback on attack still does, and marking and passing is tertiary on this. So that's why we have my wingbacks like that. Bombing forward, and I still like to have them have some defensive ability. Tackling of 11, marking of 9, and you look at our center backs who have got tackling and marking of 10, pretty standard stuff here. Tanzer is a little bit of a weird one. He's older. He's already declining. Probably shouldn't have sold our 16-year-old or 18-year-old backup, but what are you going to do? But crossing 15, dribbling, long shots, like he has marking and tackling. He's not a physical machine, but he does the job. Now, the midfield. The midfield is very much I'm playing the players in positions they're good at. I haven't found what I like in the midfield yet. I usually like a playmaker and somebody else because we're not playing with a playmaker in the attacking midfield role. So we're going to have a creator somewhere here. Box to box, Pozo plays that really well. I mean, Pozo plays a lot of things really well. He can essentially be a ball-winning midfielder, a box-to-box, or a Metzala. The one thing that lets him down with a box-to-box midfielder is he doesn't have the finishing for it, but he's got the physicals and everything else for it at this position. Also, because he can also play as a holding mid, a box-to-box works because he's playing, box-to-box. He's just as good at threading a pass and pushing a pass forward offensively as he is coming back here and defending the box. Which is why I have him on that. I tend to like to play a box-to-box midfielder, though, just like once again, because if you have a guy who's playing a deep line playmaker, if we look at the box-to-box midfielder's actual roles, he roams from his position. So he's going to actively roam around here, but that's fine. That's what box-to-box you want him to do, but he's going to be in the midfield working hard and being a workhorse. Chalmers is a deep line playmaker. Now, Chalmers fits. He shoots less often, he takes more risks, and he holds his position, which means he's holding his position where this guy's Pozo's bombing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Chalmers is usually sitting between the defensive line. I think it's like the attack, the offensive line, their attacking midfielders, and then their midfield. Like this is where Chalmers operates. And Chalmers, number one, it's the position he wants to play in. But he comes in deep to get the ball. He doesn't dive into tackles. He tries long-range passes, and he curls the ball. So, he is a deep line playmaker. Is he an advanced playmaker? He could. His dribbling's not there, though. He's not going to progress the ball forward. And the fact that he's starting to physically decline with his pace and his jumping reach and that kind of stuff, it's best to play him where he's strongest. Which is this. Now, he is a great free... We also know that he's in the field, in the team, because he's a dead ball specialist. 15 free kick, 14 corners, 12 crossing. The man can pick a cross and pick a free kick. He fits to our scheme to a T. This position with somebody else, maybe is an advanced playmaker, so he gets a little bit further up the field. That provides a little bit more offensive firepower. But when you've got Casa playing as an attacking mid, you really don't need that. So having a guy who drops a little bit deeper may be a little bit better in picking passes around is good while we have this guy bombing forward. other thoughts on what we could do here when we start getting into higher tiers. We're starting to get players that have more physical and technical stats that are instead of being in the Southern League Premier Central. Maybe this guy becomes a ball winning midfielder, and this guy becomes a mezzala that goes forward, or you have an advanced playmaker and a ball winning midfielder or a mezzala. You play double mezzala or a Caballero. Once again, Caballero will stutter step out this way defensively, and mezzala will stutter step this way out, but offensively. Deep line playmaker, ball winning box-to-box midfielder is always a solid combination. You kind of can't go wrong with it. Especially when you're like, once again, he's going to be dropping around here, and he's not defensively bad. I mean, if you look at our analysis too, it shows you like Chalmers is going to be right around this area right here. So he's got some decent positioning here. Now, Ponzo will be up here a little bit more. But yeah, all in all, we keep ourselves compact, which is nice. So there's that. Now, Casa, attacking midfielder. Why attacking midfielder? Playmakers are going to playmake. Shadow strikers are going to basically try and act like another striker. I like the attacking midfield on attack because it only has one real instruction. Get further forward. Casa is going to get forward. He starts back here and he just runs forward. He's going to be in and around the box area. And then I just want him to be flexible because this position for Casa, he's 18 flair. As we know, flair is just his a talent to be creative and unpredictable. I don't want to limit the fact that he limit his flair by getting him with more instructions. If you look at somebody like an advanced playmaker on attack, shoots less often, dribbles more, takes more risks. I don't want him to shoot less often. I want him to shoot. Shadow striker, dribble more, get more risk, get further, move into channels. This would mean he's moving into channels. We have two strikers ahead of him. He doesn't need to move into channels. One of them is going to do that. Attacking midfielder on attack. Once again, he's starting from a little bit deeper, which we need, because you have the other ones are too pushed forward. So he allows this kind of link between the midfield here. Doesn't have a lot of stuff. It just lets him go forward and lets him kind of work in this area. He arrives late into the box. He can go wide, but he always provides, if these guys get pushed out into the channels, he kind of fills the role of a second striker. So it always means you always have two guys in the box. Once if you're against two center backs, you're man-to-manning. If you're against three center backs, well, there's two guys, the strikers in there. You're not leaving one striker at the behest of another of 2 to 3 center backs, which is why we play him like that. Strikers. The one defined striker position that I want is an advanced forward. Advanced forward I always want to have as one of my strikers because you need somebody who's breaking the line, pushing forward. You look at the way an advanced forward is set up, the way that it's moving to channels, but its job is to really just push forward, bomb forward, and break the line. Moreno is a poacher right now. Take fewer risks, dribble less. He's just going to kind of get in there and poach. This position, idealistically, is one of two things. It's either a deep line forward on attack to help facilitate because he can drop back in here while Casa runs by him. I want my strikers always be on attack, or in higher leagues, a complete forward on attack. A guy who can basically do anything. Because he's going to help facilitate to that advanced forward, and he's going to basically know, oh yeah, I can drop this back. I can hold up the ball. I can roam from my position. Or I know this guy's charging forward. It's a technical thing, and right now we know Moreno is best as a poacher. So that works. And once again, these kind of three kind of works because you don't need these guys. You just need these guys scoring goals. And they do score goals. So the link-up play between all this, like he'll run out wide. The important thing is getting the footing right. He's left-footed. He's right. Casa brings all this together, and that's how we stitch our forwards together. So Archer is constantly running forward, breaking the line, trying to score goals, being the advanced forward. Moreno's kind of lingering around the box, trying to be the poacher, trying to pick things up, and Casa arrives late, hopefully to get crosses in from the wingbacks who are crossing in from the byline, or from Chalmers and Ponzo working the ball forward through the midfield. That's how we work offensively. And in possession, you can kind of see how we do that. You would think that this team is built off of a kind of a tiki-taka. So normally they would want us to play slightly lower tempo, slightly shorter passing, and then slowly work our ball out of the box, play out of the defense, work the ball into the box, methodically break it through everything. Play fairly wide, but just standard width for us. And that's about it. No, I like slightly shorter passing and slightly higher tempo. Like slightly high to high tempo. And the reason for that is because high tempo. So you're passing short, you're knocking the ball around, but you're doing quick. Kind of bang, bang. A lot of our guys aren't good dribblers. Are not good on the ball. We're lower league still. These are all part-time players. I'm not training them every day. I know for a fact that I don't have guys good dribblers and have good hold-up play. So what's the best way to counteract that? Ping the ball fast. Just get the ball, 1 touch, 2 touch, send it out. 1 touch, 2 touch, find the next man. 1 touch, 2 touch, cross it in. Work the ball back to front. Not hoofballing it, but work it back to front. Tip, tap, move the ball, try and score. It's kind of ticky-taka, but quick. We're not gegen press. Well, we kind of press. But that's the way we move. We don't never time waste, but at the same time, this allows us to, because the way our position is, and you guys have seen me do this in games, where if we slow down, once it's done, I drop from positive and we do less frequent, we time waste and everything here. The other thing is we're on positive. Where you start mentally really changes the way how much intensity you are. I like starting on positive, which means, it says your employees, we should look at this, how it actually reads out. Arguably the most important of all match mentalities is by carefully balancing risk and reward and enables managers to assess the situation, how well they're playing prior to specialized tactical plan. The mentality is best employed for matches where you believe that you're the stronger team, but you're where your opponent's counterattacked. It aims to be move the ball around the park patiently and probe the final third with spaces when it opens up. Although the fullbacks overlap and midfielders take break forward, they will generally do so during relatively risk-free situations. They usually search the midfield to maintain possession, help open up chances. That's what we do to a T. Balanced is like just, it's not quite cautious, not quite this. Positive is what we want to do. It reads to a T on how we want to play. We want to move forward. We want to be aware of the counterattacking thing. We want our fullbacks to burst forward. We want our guys to do that, but do it when it's relatively risk-free or when there's an opening that we know is up for us to work. That's why positive works. And that's why you don't change off of it and go to like cautious or very defensive. If you're going defensive into a match, especially in Football Manager, you're aiming yourself to lose. You're asking yourself to lose the game. Because, and this is good, I guess it's a philosophy for football in general, you need to score goals to win the game. If you're going to set yourself up to play defensively, you shouldn't ever be starting on very defensive or defensive. That just means you're trying not to ship goals. If you're trying not to ship a goal, that means you're trying not to score a goal. It means your focus is on defending. Cautious, I will understand starting. If we were playing against Manchester United or Man City tomorrow in the FA Cup, I would probably start on cautious. Mainly because I know that they are that much better than me. And I know that I need to be defensively solid. I would also probably change my wingbacks to support or even defend. And then I would tell them to cross from the hit early crosses and just send my 2 forwards forward like maniacs. But when you are pretty much playing like the way you want, if you dictate the tempo to the team, if you're the guys you're going to play this situation, there's no reason why you shouldn't play it this way. And once again, in position, not a lot on the tactics here. We're not clicking all the buttons. Yes, play for set pieces is something we can do because we know Chalmers is good, but we get enough fouls in the way we play because we move the ball so quick that I don't need to tell them to do that. Pass into space. Yes, I would love to pass into space. I don't believe we don't have enough guys who are good enough and fast enough to do that. We have a technically good passing team, but not a pass into space kind of passing team. We don't have guys who can just break the line. I don't have a striker that is like 17, 18 pace. Dribbling, once again, we're not great dribblers. I don't want to tell them to dribble less, though, because I want to dribble the right amount. And creative freedom, I don't want to force them to make decisions. I want them to play their game. And with guys with lower teamwork and lower those kind of stats, the less things I have on here, the less I'm trying to force them to play my mentality, the less likely I'm going to have them do that, make their changes. Other big thing is mixed crosses is kind of a thing. Floated crosses, if guys are really high, whipped crosses are into the box to swerve and dip. and then low crosses. I like people to mix. Just use what you think is right. In transition, when we get caught, we distribute to center backs. For obvious reasons, they're center backs. We have 3 of them. You're going to move forward to that. I don't ever want us to take long kicks unless we can't. When we lose possession, I want us to counter press. Counter press, I mean, it's so much part of the mana game. You counter press. It's what you do. You just counter press. When we get the ball back, I want us to counter too, because once again, we have guys who can go forward. Our defense is pretty good. We're usually not going to get outnumbered in defense when we want to counter. Our 3 center backs are not going to be a part of it. But if we win the ball back, we got enough guys going forward, enough decent quick passers that, yeah, we should be countering. And we can press with the guys we have. I don't want to roll it out. Don't want a long throw. Don't want a short kick. I don't want to limit our goalkeeper from what he wants to do decision-wise. I just don't want to have him to take long kicks if he doesn't have to. I do want him to distribute to the center backs because there's always 3 of them there, and that means you're always going to have a passing triangle. The rest of it gets kind of cut down, and I don't want to slow the place down or distribute it quickly. This is usually when we're losing or we're winning to help slow the game down anymore, because you slow the pace down, it slows it down a little bit, you distribute quickly and ups the intensity. Out of possession, where we have the most stuff. So, we could probably take this off. Using tighter marking is something nice. We use tighter marking. We use tighter marking because, well, you do. Because we're triggering a press more often. So we're triggering a press more often. We're using tighter marking. We want to get up there. We want to do that. You could use offside trap. We're not going to. I'll use offside trap. Once again, we don't have guys who are quick enough to step up or have the teamwork to be able to do that. So I leave that off. Tackling, getting stuck in, or staying on the feet, I let that on this side, or I will turn that on an individual basis. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution. You should always have this on. You should not want the other opponent's goalkeeper, especially with the way we play. We do not want the goalkeeper kicking it short. We want them kicking it long because we have usually a height advantage with our center backs, especially with the Antonsen. We win that header, push it forward to our midfield, and start a counterattack. Higher line of engagement. This is usually pretty standard, once again, because we're marking high. We have a high line of engagement. I don't want to do much higher because I want to give our center backs who don't have the best pace to be able to do that. When we start getting into much higher leagues, a higher line of defense will be good. High will be fine. Sometimes it's going to be dropped to standard if I see that we're getting beat. Now, probably the biggest key to the way I build my defense is this. And it's not something I used in previous editions, but something I've used here. Force opposition outside. Why do I do that? We have 3 center backs and we're going to play in the center, which forces us to play narrow defensively. But I want our guys to force the opponents outside because usually we have a 6'1", a 6'6", and a 6'4" center back. We should be winning the majority of the aerial duels. If we're sending guys out wide, they're going to cross the ball in. And 9 times out of 10, I don't see guys whipping crosses in this stage in the game, or this like level of the game. So they're crossing the ball high. We have center backs who can win those crosses, and there we go. That's why we do it that way. That's why we play the way we do. Because pushing them out wide, big tall center backs, 6'6" guy standing at the penalty spot. Your striker is 5'9", 5'10", and probably doesn't have the height reach. Even if he does got 12 heading, our guy's probably winning that and clearing it out. And if we look at their goals conceded, because now we can be done talking about players and stuff. Let me just make sure I haven't changed my tactics up too much. Yep. Also, yes, the tactic is called Yeet. I'm fine with that. I named it. Team performance, shots. This is our shots. Can we see report? Clear-cut chances, scoring, conceding. Here we go. Last 50 matches. So, the last 50 matches, if you look at where we concede our shots from. Now, if I'm not mistaken, to look at the tactics screen here. Thank you, Data Hub. You've made this very easy. So 14 of the 33 assists conceded have come from crosses. 11 of the 33 assists of the last 49 matches have come from the left side of the pitch. Includes goals in the opposition half. So the majority of our goals have been in this area right here. Center of the pitch. Usually just inside the 18-yard box. That's where the majority of our goals are. We don't concede from the outside positions here. We force them wide and we force them to cross. The majority of the ones that we have given is place shots. We don't get a lot of powerful shots. We've only given up 6 headers, and that's in the last 50 matches. How many matches have we played so far this season? What do we think? Probably, we'll say like what? I can kind of look here. We've played 23 matches in the league. We'll extrapolate that out. We'll say 30 matches overall. So, yeah, if you look at here, we've only given up 5 headers. We've only conceded how many times? What? Let me do the quick math. 9, 10, 11, 16, 17, 18, 19. We've only conceded 20 times in the last 30 matches. Less than a goal a game, pretty good, I would assume. You look at where our goals are usually coming from. They're usually coming in like the first 45. We have 12. And then we've only conceded 2, 6, 8 goals in the second half, and none within past stoppage time. That's all competitions, mind you. Their assists, they don't have assists that come from outside. Like you can see here, short pass, 1 free kick assist, cross, short passes, through balls, opposition mistake. We've only made 1 mistake. And look, strikers, attacking midfielder left. Nobody from their wing backs. We only give up goals here. Now, scoring wise, if you look at where we score, it's pretty simple. It's where we score a lot of our goals. It's where we do our work. Our assists, hey, look. We cross it in. Not a lot, assists including our own halves. By the way, we had a goalkeeper that gave us 2 assists from long punts. This is last 10 matches. We should do the last 30 once again. Goals in the last 30 matches. Look at 62, 32. We poach. This is all that byline stuff. Not too many goals from outside the box here. 1 from far out. Assists, 25, 23, 15, 11, 14. I think that's a good... I showed you a good idea. 24 from crosses, 28 from through balls, 12 from free kicks, 17 from corners, 2 from short passes, 5 from opposition mistakes, 1 from medium passes, and 1 from square balls. Where do our position come from? Well, we don't play with these. Our wing back, I don't know why defender right goes up, but headed goals, this is our center backs, midfielders, attacking mid, that's all Darling Costa right there. He has 24 goals this season, and then strikers 53. We essentially focus the play down the spine, but that's because that's the way we play. And it shows you right here. We had to play this way when we lost the guy, and we had to do that. But if you look at our last 50 started, we have a clear-cut chances for and against. We're plus 114. We have a chance every 32 minutes. We have a chance against us every 171 minutes. So, if I'm doing my math correctly, we're just under giving up a chance once every 2 games. Just under once every 2 games. And we've used it for the majority of the time. And it shows us we have a positive goal difference against all of... or clear-cut chance against all teams that we play. So this is all teams. This is including Wickham that we played last time. So... that shows you how this tactic works and how we have built it. Now, do we have good players? Absolutely, we have good players. Why do we have good players? I have focused on the first team. If you look at our under-23 squad, we have 1 player in the under-23 squad. if that. He actually is in the first team. So we have nobody in there under 23s. We have one player in the under 18s. I am not giving anybody any thought into youth development. It is all the money and all the wages are going to staff and first team players. That's it. So I'm willing to be able to pay guys larger salaries to come in and do that. I'm also ruthless in the transfer market. You've seen it. We have West Brom and Stourbridge coming up. Stourbridge today, West Brom tomorrow. And I sold our best striker. I sold them. So what does that tell you? Is that, like, if the money's good, we're going to sell him. Like, look at Jahan. I mean, it shows you what he's done there. But if you look at his career history right here, 28 goals in all competitions for us. I sold him. He was going to break the single thing. I mean, look at this. Even in the league, he had 19 goals in 20 appearances. He was killing it. I sold him. Why? Because we have Archer, who came in, who's on less money, do what he does. Also, be honest, he's not African either. So he's not from Africa. He doesn't represent Africa's first team, which means we won't lose him to the African Cup of Nations if he gets called up, which is a big deal for us. I mean, imagine losing that guy for a month to 2 months. Look what Liverpool happened with Liverpool, Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. I mean, they're Liverpool, so they actually recruit, but they recruited well, and they made up for the differences here. Archer is just as good of a striker. Look at his return for us. He has 6 appearances, 2 off the bench, 6 goals. 3 in the league, and 2 as a sub in the FA Cup, which is why we're playing West Brom, because he got 2 goals against Wickham. We're just going to stop him running down the right with the ball, and he's going to be fine for us. Xavier is going to go. Am I looking at replacing him? Absolutely, I am. Who do you replace Xavier with, right? Well, my immediate thought is, well, we've got Madu. He could do a job. He's 6'6". He's not the quickest, but he's got good tackling and passing. Well, we've got Antonsen. Maybe we move him outright. We put Madu in the center. Maybe we put Madu on the right. Hernandez is a solid player, but we like him where he is. He's kind of one of our few left putters. I mean, we've got Joe Gubbins, right? He's not bad, marking, tackling, all of that other stuff. Maybe we bring him in. Or we find a guy on loan. We also have Doslin Romero. This guy is 6'5". He's an either footer. Maybe we put him in the middle at 6'6", and we put Antonsen outright. He's young. He's 17. Give him a shot. Give him some game time. You know, we have players who have the ability to do stuff here. Xavier is great, and we will miss him. And we probably will ship more goals, but that's fine. Okonkwo is a better player than Jakak was. Has potential to do that, and we have him on less money. That's why I sold Jakak. Casa, I don't ever want to sell. Moreno, I don't really want to sell. But we have guys who can play these positions. So, tactically and team building wise, what have I done? I built the team that I built a tactic the way I want to, and I play the team and I build the team around that. Strikers that are decent at finishing, wingbacks who are good at going forward and crossing from deep or crossing and from the byline, defenders that are tall so that we can defend the box and force people to mess up on crosses from us. Midfield that just facilitate getting forward with the ball. And then when it comes to recruitment, recruit for the first team and be ruthless when it comes to transfers. If you can make money on a guy, you make money on that guy. That's what I've done. We've made, so far this year, you look at it, Johanna, we got for free. He was a free transfer. We got him for free. We just flipped him for definitely 250, £250,000. Could be more if he gets transferred again. Just gonna happen. It's gonna same for Xavier. We got him for free. He's gonna be flipped. We could lose our entire back line. Look at Carlisle, Derby, Oxford, Sutton, and Forest Green all want Gabriel Hernandez. Forest Green want Porton Anderson. Iker Ponzo is rented by Sutton. His value is 300. I've marked him at 375,000 pounds. If we get somebody to pay that for him, I'm selling him. That is a huge amount of money. Because here's the best part is, because I look at this guy, who comes in? Who's the box-to-box midfielder? Who's the replacement? Simeone can do that. He's got the pace and the natural fitness to do that and the acceleration, and he's got decent passing and vision enough to do those things. They're better finishing. He can do that. You know who else who could do that? Sonny Kane. Sonny Kane can play as a box-to-box midfielder. Absolutely. He's got the teamwork and the work rate to do that. He's got the dribbling, the finishing, the first touch, and the pace and stamina. Ruben Mendes. I brought this guy in. Why would I bring this guy in? Well, I brought him in because look at his teamwork, his vision, his passing, his first touch. His free kicking isn't great, but guess what he is? He's a midfield passing facilitator. He can do some corners and crosses. He's right-footed. This guy can help replace Chalmers. Chalmers is 31. By the way, we also have Jack Kane. Jack Kane is a left-footed guy who looks forward to get ever plausible, tries to place long shots, plays long-range free kicks. Teamwork, vision, work rate, first touch, 12 free kick taking. He can also be Chalmers, and he is 7 years younger. Be ruthless. Scott Sanser, he's declining. He's better than Kitching is. He has the technical stats, and he still does fine for us. Who is going to replace him at left back? Well, we've got Callum Yates, who can cross the ball, who can get up and down the pitch. He's got decent tackling. That works nice. We've also got Zane, he's a reasonable left foot, not a great one, but he's 6'2". Once again, he's quick and get up and down the wing. So that's when I don't really have anybody to do that. That's something I have to look at and something I am looking at for this transfer window. But we're only just into it. Teams aren't willing to loan them yet, and guys who've got released from leagues aren't desperate to join teams at our level yet. So we have to be patient. So we have spent 46 minutes on tactics and team building. And by the way, it works out all right. Remember, I started this. We get 4,000 per season from a main kit sponsor. That's it. That's all we get. That's how I built this team. By just winning, getting good players, and going on from there. And really not using too many loans, because we haven't been able to have the reputation to get loans. Juan Carlos Parra is going to get a lot more game time. He's meant to be here as an advanced forward loan from, Queen's Park. And I haven't played him a whole lot. Yeah, so they're going to get unhappy with me about it. But he's a good player, and he's a guy I'm going to want to probably start as an advanced forward every once in a while. And moving that in there. Am I constantly looking at loans? Absolutely I am. But I'm looking for loans that I can improve with. Also loans that are free. He is free. I'm not paying anything for this guy. I can't afford him. He doesn't want to join us. But I don't want him to. And to be honest, I'd prefer to play him as the poacher. Or even better, guess what? He can actually play pretty well. He's okay enough to play as a deep line forward on attack. But there we go. Let's go into a game. By the way, like these kind of tactics of eights, I just let the assistant choose that one. I never really bother with these. I just let the assistant choose these. Once again, positive to balanced. He wants to do this against storage with balance mentality. No. Hit early crosses. I don't want to do that. Increase defensive duties. I think we're fine. They want us to play a controlled possession, which takes shorter passes, takes shorter kicks, lower tempo. I don't want to do that. And then this is just this. Can I tell them not to? Well, we'll leave that at that. Team selection. Team is pretty standard. Archer, Moreno, Casa, Chalmers, Ponzo, Tanzer, Daniel, Xavier, Andonson, Hernandez, Okonkwo. Xavier has a bit on him. I'm starting him. He's my best center back. He's my player until they take him out from underneath me. And if he gets injured, oh well. Cummins, Yeats, Sione, and Parra all on the bench. I think that's pretty solid. It is a pretty solid group of people. There's some goals here on the bench for sure. But there's a lot of goals out here. So, how do we handle tactics in a match? Lots of ways. First of all, always give positive team talk. At the beginning, I always go with and try and give them, I have faith. They won't love you to start with, but as you do that, you motivate them. And if you look at the only people who don't is Poser never really has been motivated by me, and Aquanko is new. But literally everybody else is positive and perked up. And also usually if you have a team leader and you can get them on your side, then in most cases that'll help out your rest of your team. So, game starts. Where do I look at from here? Well, sometimes I usually play it on key highlights. Sometimes I'll drop it to extended. But for here, I'll play it on key. This is where I like to look a lot. Average positions of teams. This is kind of my go-to area. And then also match stats. So if you look at the first, 10 minutes, look, corner already, ball in Xavier, header goes over. We should also talk about those. Oh, God, I forgot. Set pieces. Set pieces are huge. Because the way I have the team built, you can see right here, this is the defensive set piece. And it's the same for this and the other one. We have our biggest guy in the center. We have our next biggest guy at the front. We have a short guy and another short guy. We have a striker at the edge of the area, the other striker here, and then the wing backs and other people at the back. Protect the 6-yard box. Mark some players. See if you can't get lucky, head the ball away. Edge of the area, striker forward. If you can quick and break. Left and right, it's the exact same. I don't know why that wing back can't be there. On attack, always have your two wing backs back, along with the midfielder. I always keep my two wing backs back here because they're the best defensively, and they usually have the most speed. They can catch guys if they want to break. I always do free kicks to the near post. On the near post are my guys that usually are my tallest and have the best heading attribute, which in this case is my center backs. My third center back is usually marking the keeper. He's a tall guy. He's usually getting involved with the keeper. On the back post is usually my two better finishers. I like to have a striker who's attacking the far post. They usually get, if there's something gets mopped up, he can kind of come in and ping it in at the back post. The other striker charging in from the edge of the area. And then the the attacking midfielder lurking. So if anything falls to them, they can kind of ping a pass. Normally a guy with better long shots, I'd have him be out here. But you get it. And same for the other side. That's how I play that. Back to the game. Sorry. I've talked for 52 minutes straight. This is all one take. Sachik, ball in. Well, Hernandez made the shambles of that. But you can kind of see here with the throw-in how we have it defended. We're forcing the guys outride, and then Hernandez just tries to go and stick a foot out to clear it. You know what he was trying to do. It sucks that it was an own goal, but you know what? You take it. Now, statistic-wise, they have a huge XG now because we've given them an own goal. Well, possession has been pretty balanced. All right. Watch this now. Possession has been pretty balanced, and I'm not sweating it yet. The own goal was a freak thing here. Nobody looks like they're playing too badly. Our strikers haven't really gotten into the game yet. Our defenders are doing well. Hernandez gets hammered because of that own goal. Daniel with the yellow card. Watch this. He's going to kick it long. He's usually going to probably kick it, and Antonson's going to contest the striker for it. Ball long. Who's there? Antonson. Big 6'6" guy in the middle. He wins the header, finds Casa. Now, what do we have? Because we've won possession. Here, let's change things up here. We're going sideline. We've won possession. Casa has won possession here. What are his passing options? Well, the wingbacks have immediately turned to go. He has the two midfielders behind him. Antonson just won this in the wide center back. As you can see, these guys are advancing forward here, bombing down the side here. These guys are now going to vacate and fill these positions here. Antonson will stay here to cover. The midfield will kind of split here. Now, Casa has the ability to progress the ball forward. It looks like 8 Lesby is going to come in to mark him. And the two defenders here and this defender here are dropping off. This guy, Bug, it looks like he's going to be sitting here with Archer. Now, Casa has a couple options. Casa can go here to Moreno. He can come over here to Archer. He can bring it back to Chalmers or Ponzo. Or he can ping a ball out here to Tanzer or Daniel. Now, I think the way Casa, or he can just start taking it and pushing the ball forward himself. He does have the trait get further forward. He may run a little bit forward, but if one of these guys, if Archer makes a run or Moreno makes a run, then he'll probably slip the ball through as a straight ball. There's a good opportunity for a straight ball here, mainly because this guy is flat-footed, and if Archer can get the pace and break on him, he can be through on goal. Casa finds Moreno. Moreno's left-footed. Archer is on the run. This guy's now coming in to get him. Archer is probably going to try and outpace this guy. Now, Moreno will probably do a one-touch, maybe look at an angled ball or straight ball through here. He's not one who's going to do this. Now, he's going to get closed down, and this Marsden guy's going to try and pick his pocket here. So he's going to immediately try and do that. Once again, defensively, if we lose possession here, we still have 6 guys behind the ball, and we've only committed 4 guys to the attack. So they only have 4 guys behind the ball, and once again, we can match up with these guys pretty well. Moreno now slides the ball through for Archer. Goal. Header, and these, once again, you'll see this on the replay in real time. Watch how many touches there are on the ball. Antonsen heads it. Casa gets it 1 touch. Moreno 2 touches. Archer 1 touch. Fire. Goal. All started because we had a big guy win the header on a long ball. Moreno and Archer both get credits for it. Antonsen's really the guy who helped build it. And now we start controlling possession. Now watch how we do. We don't kick it long. Antonsen gets the ball here. Finds Chalmers. What are Chalmers' passing options? Well, he can come back to Antonsen. He's got Hernandez out here wide. He can bring it to Ponzo. Casa's right here. He's also got the wingback right here. And Moreno, if it's a more risky pass, but Archer's already looking to break the line, and Daniel's starting to come down this way. He could switch play if he wants to. I think he'll go out left, or he'll look to find Casa. Finds Moreno. Moreno immediately passes it to Tanzer. 1 touch. Moreno turns and goes. We're breaking forward. Now, Tanzer has a nice field of options back here to pass to. Chalmers is sitting deep as the deep line playmaker. The 3 center backs are still back. Daniel is in wide open space here on the far side. Ponzo's there. Casa's breaking forward. Archer is breaking the line. And to be honest with you, don't know if Tanzer will do this or not. Moreno has gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys around him. Casa has a ton of room to run into. So a cheeky ball over the top here works. Tanzer decides to hold on to it. Archer's broken the line, gone offside. Moreno's still onside. He's breaking his line. Casa is now in open space, but is starting to drag Bug, the defender, back. Daniel is in tons of space out here, but once again, he still has passing options out back. Tanzer keeps bringing the ball in midfield and finally pushes it forward. Chalmers has stayed deep, being the deep line playmaker. Ponzo's starting to make a run. We essentially have a midfield too. Essentially, we still have kind of a 4. We have a 4 mid. We kind of have a diamond going on here, if you look. Hernandez has kind of come out here to be the defensive wingback. We have 2 central defenders, and Antonsen Xavier. Daniel's kind of come out here to be the wingback. Chalmers is showing as the holding mid. Tanzer and Ponzo are the 2 midfielders. Casa at the base, at the head of the diamond. Archer and the other ones too. Tanzer's ball is coming through to Casa, who's in space. Casa gets it. Immediately closed down. Now he's got the play to Moreno here, who, if he wants it, can go 1 touch, sends the ball through, and see if Archer can't get it on there. Instead, he backheels it to Archer, who is the right play. Moreno sees this, and he's going to make a cutting run here, because there's open on the wide play here. Now, Archer also, if you can see him, has Daniel way out wide here to get the cross to, which he does. Now, Daniel, tons of space to run into. This guy is West is going to start pulling over. We have 2 strike. We have Moreno and Casa here, and Archer. 3 guys. Now, this defender has to come over here, or else Daniel's going to bring it out here and start cutting it into space, or take the shot on himself. So West has to come, which means all this defensive line has to shift over. Also, Archer could be let through here. Nope, they're just going to let Daniel run at it. Now, Casa holds back, because now he wants to sit and kind of wait to poach. See what happens. Moreno starts driving forward because he's the poacher. He wants to sit at the back post to see what's happening. Archer is now kind of keeping this defender here. Now, what probably is going to happen is Daniel's going to take the shot on. If he buries it, it's awesome. It's a goal for us. If he doesn't bury it, we have guys, one charging the back post, one would probably be near post, and one outside the area to collect something. Also, Tanzer is here. Chalmers is here. Ponzo is here. We kind of have that 3 midfield, and then we have the 3 at the base. And mind you, look how much space we have. They've compact themselves down so much that even if they get the ball, there's no way they can break on us because we already have such a foot. We're going to win all of that foot race. Daniel takes the shot on himself, blows it over the bar. Wing back. We get wing backs that are stronger, have better shooting attributes. There you go. Corner. Shows you right there. Casa comes in at the edge of the area. A ball for another corner. Ball again. Chalmers in. Xavier heads it down. Tantalizing shot. If he had attacked the back post, we may have had a shot on target with Moreno. Who knows? Welcome to tactics, folks. Daniel has gotten hurt. Yeats is going to have to play there. And if anything, what we'll do is we'll play Yeats as... We'll just play him as a wingback like that. He can play the role. We're fine with that. Not ideal. But once again, this is the reason why you... In a league where we would have 7 subs, it would be easier to deal with something like that. Okay, defense. You can immediately see where we are. Yeats is here with the back post guy. We've got our 3 defenders. Antonson's coming over, but he's starting to drop back. And we're forcing them out wide. We don't want them in the middle. We want them wide. And we push them back because we want to own the center of the pitch. West comes in. Once again, we force him out wide. Here comes the cross. Now he wins it, but he wins it against Tanzer. And he has to come in from deep and never really can kind of control that down. We move. Essentially, their second shot, not even on target for them. Remember, we've scored both goals in this game. Just, we happened to score at both nets. So, where does this put us now? Well, a lot of things can happen. We have been good. Standards that have been training more direct. These guys have really not shown anything going forward. We should be hitting the target more often. They're all G'd up. Perfect. Go right out. If you've got everybody on your side, don't talk more. You can only screw it up. Possible changes we need to make. Now, I like making changes anywhere between the 60th and 70th minute. Normally, I look at who's tired, who's not playing well, what can we do, but I usually like to try and give players as much as possible, unless they're really playing bad, as Wickham will show you. Now, this is a game where you have to say we have been the better team. You look at everything that's going on, I look and see, I go, okay, what's going on? And now I go, okay, what if we pass up the tempo here? We go more attacking. We've had more than 50% of the possession. We've had more targets, more shots, more XG. We're winning the corner battles. We're fouling more. Let's just try and up it up a little bit. Now, Antonson's going to go forward. Moreno's going to win that, but it's going to fall. So how do we collect now? Well, immediately you can see we go compact. Here in the center. This guy's going to come in, wins the header. Xavier's there. Pozo gets it through to Moreno, tries the header down to them. So once again, we're trying to advance forward, but we are starting from a deeper position because we're defending. You can see these guys are pressing when they can, but they're not leaving their man to press unless there's coverage. Hassan is there, but a pretty tame shot, and everybody kind of had that. You'd figure Okonkwo would have taken that shot all day, every day. Now, Chalmers is tired, which kind of sucks because Chalmers is our dead ball threat here. Sione is going to come in and do the job for us. He can he deep line play make? Yeah, kind of. Enough. Casa and that. Now, Archer has looked good. So has Moreno. Casa hasn't. Now, here's the thing. Parra can come in and be an attacking midfielder. We know he can also be a shadow striker. Now we're taking a guy who can be a striking option, and we are creating more of an overload in that middle of the pitch. We're just having a striker who's starting further deep in. Also, Casa's tired. He does a lot for us, but he's also, because he does a lot for us, and he's our top scorer, we need to think about this. Tanzer finds Parra. Tanzer's ball in, punched out, which is interesting. Now, we have our guys collect. Xavier's going to cook it here, find Yeats. Yeats, now, interesting, he is a wing back, but he doesn't have a strong right foot. Showable by there. Tanzer for Parra, who turns it, and he was sitting there like Darlin Casa would be. And Parra gets his, second goal for us now? And this starts, guy from the byline loses out to everybody. Moreno collects it, Tanzer's there, finds a guy sitting, and Parra is just a simple turn and burn. And that's just because you keep guys in the center, and that's where a lone striker, though can be deadly, having 2 or 3 guys sit in the box can do even more for you. Now, we made our 3 substitutions. We were looking good. Moreno has an assist. Scott Tanzer has an assist. Parra and Archer both have goals. Do we pull back and go defensive? No. If this was a bigger club and we were able to make more defensive subs, we would pull back and go more defensive. But we've already committed to being attacking, so let's keep attacking. Keep going at them. Tanzer is there. Now, because once again, these guys haven't had too many shots on target. Archer's going to check that down, try and get it to Parra. Passione is there. Finds Ponzo. A rare lose out, but once again, Xavier's there. We have our center backs are able to check up. Yeats finds Ponzo. Finds Xavier. We'll work the ball around. There's always passing angles. Xavier here. Now, once again, that center back is coming forward. We still have 2 center backs back. And Parra is going to take the shot on outside, but not a bad shot, all things considering, and I wouldn't mind them working the ball outside the box. Now, we still had 2 center backs back there who were able to do that, but the wide center back will join the attack if need be to provide an extra passing outlet. And all in all, even with an own goal, we still end up winning. It's a good job. Well done. Goals from Parra off the bench. Moreno gets the assist. And we beat the third place team, which we needed to do. Daniel is out for 4 to 5 weeks. Luckily, do we have somebody who can play there? Absolutely. That's why we have Paul Diallo, who is, once again, a wingback on attack. He's got the flair. He's got decent enough crossing and ability to do that. He's also still competent as a defender. And I think he's a Van Arman North South leader. He also came from the Man City Academy. And there you go. That, my friends, is tactics. It's an hour and 8 minutes worth of tactics for you. Oh, Daniel also is going to be suspended for the next match anyways because of his 5 yellow cards. So, next is West Brom. We could be without Xavier for that game too. So, hope you enjoyed the tactics episode. I know I've enjoyed making it for you. I need to go get something to drink now because my throat is dry. So until tomorrow, West Brom, I've been James. You've been you. This has been TGWPIS FC. It's not how good you are. It's how good you want to be. I'll see you next time, folks. The button's right here. So, bye-bye.